Welcome you to Use of English with Olumide Oregbemi. I use this platform to teach people who want to improve the quality of their writing. Based on popular demand, today's lecture will be English language for SS2 first term. A request came in that I should do a video on English language for SS2 first term. So this video is for all SS2 students who are resuming this session. So I'm going to pick on the first topic in the first term, which is nominalization. So if you're ready, let's go. Welcome back. Now, what is nominalization? A lot of people make a whole lot of mistakes when using nominalization because they don't understand what nominalization is all about. Now, nominalization is the process by which words other than nouns are made to function and behave as nouns. Okay, so there are times when we want to use certain words in different part of speech. Okay, those words I'm referring to are not in the noun part of speech, but we want to use them as nouns. So we have to nominalize them, okay, from their original part of speech to function in another part of speech correctly in their grammatical context. So it requires knowledge of nominalization to be able to use this effectively. We're going to see nominalization and conversion. For you to understand basically the idea of nominalization, you have to understand what we call affixation. Okay, it's another topic. Affixation comprises your suffixes and your prefixes. But since we are only talking about nominalization, we will only focus on suffixes because prefixes has to do most times with antonyms. When we're changing word, from positive to negative, in most cases we use prefixes. But since it is nominalization, we are going to make do with suffixes. I hope you're ready because we're about to start. Okay, fasten your seatbelt and then listen and watch along. In most cases, verbs and adjectives become noun by taking on the noun suffixes. I'm going to be calling out some of the noun suffixes, okay? So when we want to use some verbs and some adjectives, we can nominalize them by giving them some noun suffixes. In this case, such words can now begin to function as nouns. Examples are or slash er. Or in the sense that we can have the word which is in the verb form create, and then we can nominalize it to a noun and it becomes creator. Okay, so we have removed the e, okay, that ends the word create, and then we have replaced it with or. That makes it nominalized from a verb to a noun. I hope that is clear. The second one is teach. Now, teach is a verb, but we can nominalize it to noun by adding er. It becomes teacher. Okay, teacher. Those are very simple nominalizations, but we'll get to the complex ones. And it is very funny that people just use those two ones carelessly. And you laugh at them when they bring some suffixes that cannot actually and correctly go with some words. So when they say it sounds correct to them, but it's so funny to those who understand that, oh, those suffixes cannot go. Next is defend and expect. Now, defend is a verb, okay? Now you can nominalize it to a noun and it becomes defendant. Now, the word defendant can be verb and it can be adjective, okay? So, but we're talking about the noun form, defendant. The second one is expect. Expect is also a verb. Okay, it can be nominalized to a noun. It becomes expectant. Mind you, expectant can also be an adjective and a noun, but we are talking about the noun form. I hope that it's one is amend. Now, amend is a verb. Now, to nominalize that verb to noun, we'll have amendment. Amendment. Some people can just create a particular suffix that does not exist and then use it with amend. And it will sound so correct to them, but it may be wrong in English. Let's look at the next one, which is endow. Endow is a verb, and then we can nominalize it to a noun, and it becomes endowment. Okay, those are verbs that have been nominalized to noun. Now, number two, let's look at adjectives that take suffixes to make them noun. The first one we'll look at is good. Good. Good is an adjective, and we can nominalize it to a noun. What do we need to nominalize good to noun? We just need the letters NESS, and it becomes goodness. Goodness. So good is an adjective and goodness is a noun. So, oh, I have enjoyed the goodness of God. I've enjoyed the goodness of grace. So in that sense, we have nominalized the adjective good to goodness. Next is false. Now, when you use the word false, false is an adjective. Oh, he is a false teacher. He is a false prophet. He is a false fortune teller.